that was a terrible fade out. But how you doing? Welcome back. I don't like to shift blame. I'm not a shifty blame person, but that was not my fault. StreamYard is very wonky. And my fade out was smooth. It was StreamYard that was not so smooth. But what's up, guys? How you doing? Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. We're having coffee and climate change chat with me. And welcome. I haven't decided on a new time yet for the show. I'm having a hard time deciding. So maybe it's not that big of a deal, but we'll keep it at noon for tomorrow at least, or for right now we'll keep it at noon. We're keeping it at now, and then when I figure out what is a better time, I will let you know. But probably, I'll know soon. I don't know yet. All right. And again, thank you to the people who have downloaded or pre-ordered my new record, which is called Swerve. The song that you hear, the intro song you hear, is the first song on the record, first single on the record. That's the beginning of it. And the link is here in the chat for anybody who wants to check it out and or pre-order the record. I appreciate you. I will put it in the call-in chat too, I think. Hold on. Yep, that's not what I wanted to do. I can't type anymore. Here we go. Would you please paste? Jesus. All right. It is all there. Oh, thanks. Awesome. Kameshwari Kate, I appreciate you. Thank you. Also, we'll get through all the business right up front. Best possible ways to support the show: paypal.me/Kevin Sandblum, Venmo at Kevin Sandblum, Cash App at Red Llama Music, buymeacoffee.com/Black Bear News. And you can also super chat me or super ray me. Super Ray is a Rockfin tip. And call in people, all those links are in the description box. You know the thing. Anyways, good to see you all. Thanks for hanging out. Let's get going. I don't know where to start or where to end. So many links I missed from yesterday. I might have to go back into yesterday's queue and get some links. But this is interesting. I hope the climate change folks, I know that climate change folks are aware that the powers that be are not treating us well. They're not doing right by us or the environment. We are run by a corrupt oligarchy, which prefers money, profit, backroom deals, handshakes, cartel-like behavior, prefers that stuff to keeping people safe, keeping people fed, keeping people healthy and having a healthy environment for people to live in. And I'm just talking about people. I'm not even including, which I should, animals, plants and animals and the entire ecosystem that keeps us alive. We're not prioritizing that. Dang it. I'm just trying to get comfortable here. Hold on. Sorry for the sudden buzz, guys. Jesus Christ. Sorry. Every time I try to kick up my feet, kick back, I kick something and it destroys my sense of well-being. Anyway, Climate Watcher posts this. EPA approved fuel ingredient with sky-high lifetime cancer risk. Chevron component approved, even though it could cause cancer in virtually every person exposed over a lifetime. Well, that's concerning. I hope and I wish and I hope that people can start to see, people on the left and the right, that it's the same story, whatever side you're on. The people that are concerned with CDC malfeasance and basically a large-scale medical malpractice, concerned with big pharma and right. There's people all on one, supposedly on one side of the aisle. I don't think they're on one side. I think they're everywhere. But supposedly all these people over here care about a lying medical establishment. And the people on this side are like, what are you talking about? That's crazy. It's science. Right. But then on this side, on the other side, people can say, oh my God, look what big oil is doing, fossil fuels, and they're just buying off the EPA and our agencies and buying off the administration in order to do what they want to do. Right? And the people on the right are like, what are you talking about? Fossil fuels are great. What do you mean? That's a lie. Fossil fuels are fine. We love fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are awesome. They fuel my big ass trucks that I'm never going to let go of. Right? It's just like both sides are incredibly blind. Like just to particular things going on in the world, can't see, the forest for the trees, can't see the thing that's right in front of their face. Y'all gonna ever figure it out that it's all the same thing everywhere you go and that we're all on the same side? Basically, we're being poisoned, lied to, stolen from, et cetera. So the guy on the right that's concerned about big pharma, he's correct. He should be concerned. And the guy on the left that's concerned about the fossil fuel companies destroying the planet, he's correct. And you should be concerned too. We all should be concerned about the same things, right? And it's not, sure, it's science on some level, but it's the cancerous development and growth of science that's hurting us, right? The misuse of science. The science for profit. The mislabeling of science in order to drive profits. Right? That's a thing that's happening. It's a huge concern. It should be a thing that people are concerned about on both sides of the aisle. Collectively we should all be concerned. And let me tell you, people on the right, let me tell you, yeah, okay, the renewable, the people that are trying to push climate change and push a renewable answer to you, or trying to push these, uh, this is just for profit motive. It doesn't mean that climate change is a hoax, okay? Right? The scientists that are actually out there trying to tell you the truth, they're being squashed. They're being sidelined. They're being fired. They're being minimized. They're being told that they're loony or doomers or crazies, right? By the establishment. So you have to actually get clear on that. Get clear on that. Get clear on what side you're really on. Anyways. EPA approved fuel ingredient with sky-high lifetime cancer risk, document reveals. Show. The Environmental Protection Agency. Why just don't say the same thing over and over again for the first 3 sentences? You don't have to do that. You could just say it once and then just move on. Anyways, they approved a component of boat fuel made from discarded plastic that the agency's own risk formula determined was so hazardous everyone exposed to the substance continually over a lifetime would be expected to develop cancer. Jesus Christ almighty. Current and former EPA scientists said that the threat level is unheard of. It is a million times higher than what the agency usually considers acceptable for new chemicals, and 6 times worse than the risk of lung cancer from a lifetime of smoking. 6 times worse than the risk of lung cancer from a lifetime of smoking. Federal law requires the EPA to conduct safety reviews before allowing new chemical products onto the market. If the agency finds that a substance causes unreasonable risk to health or environment, the EPA is not allowed to approve it without first finding ways to reduce that risk. Reduce the risk? How about no risk at all? How about just eliminate the risk by not approving it and just saying, get out of here. Take a hike. Take a walk. I'm good. Sayonara. Arrivederci. I can keep going. But the agency did not do that in this case. Instead, the EPA decided its scientists were overstating the risks and gave Chevron the go-ahead to make the new boat fuel ingredient in its refinery in Pascagoula, Mississippi. I wonder if the people living around this refinery understand what is going on here so close to their homes. I wonder, or in their rivers and their lakes and their groundwater. I wonder if they understand what's going on here. Though the substance can poison air and contaminate water, EPA officials mandated no remedies other than requiring workers to wear gloves. Wear gloves. Records show. Go ahead and put on those gloves over there. It's safety. It's OSHA recommended. Oh, okay. This actually, somebody was telling me about somebody was telling me about, where did I hear this? So, was telling me about someone who has discovered a way to turn plastic into fuel. I can tell you that's this is this is why this is bad, right? This is a plastic-based fuel ingredient that is just so so toxic. Should never be not only considered for any use by humans or production by humans. It should be, banished forever from the face of the earth. So I can tell you that making fuels from plastic is probably a bad idea. And I think I'm probably right on that. ProPublica and Guardian in February reported on the risks of other new plastic-based Chevron fuels that were also approved under an EPA program that the agency has touted as a climate-friendly way to boost alternatives to petroleum-based. That's the thing. Climate-friendly way to boost alternatives to petroleum-based fuels. So they're making fuels from plastic, so, oh, it's not petroleum-based, it's something else. And this is climate-friendly. It's just a relabel. It's just slapping on the green sticker on a semi-truck and going, hey, we're going green. Poink. When it's actually the opposite. It's more damaging than the petroleum-based fuels. It is more cancer-causing or inducing. Phew. That story was based on an EPA consent order, a legally binding document the agency issues to address risks to health on the environment. In the Chevron consent order, the highest noted risk came from a jet fuel that was expected to create air pollution so toxic that 1 out of 4 people exposed to it over a lifetime could get cancer. Anyways, ProPublica and The Guardian under the Freedom of Information Act, got the EPA to publish this consent order or give that to them. The 203-page risk assessment revealed that for the boat fuel ingredient, there was a far higher risk that was not in the consent order. EPA scientists included figures that made it possible for ProPublica to to calculate the lifetime cancer risk from breathing air pollution that comes from a boat engine burning the fuel. That calculation, which was confirmed by the EPA, came out to 1.3 in 1, meaning every person exposed to it over the course of a full lifetime would be expected to get cancer. Jesus. H. Christ. Such risks are exceedingly unusual, according to Maria Doa, a scientist who worked for the EPA for 30 years and once directed the division that managed the risks posed by chemicals. The EPA division that approves new chemicals usually limits lifetime cancer risk from an air pollutant to 1 additional case of cancer in 1 million people. That's what it should. That's what the number should be. Not every person that ever comes in contact with this. That means if 1 million people are continuously exposed over a presumed lifetime of 70 years, there would be likely be at least 1 case of cancer on top of those from other risks people already face. When Doa first saw the 1 in 4 cancer risk for the jet fuel, she thought it must have been a typo. So that's, jet fuel. Is that already in use? Is that something people are using now? Again, this is why I also say, to the people that are like, yeah, they're going to take away your personal vehicle, and it's all about, carbon is plant food, and dude, you understand that when you burn fossil fuels, like people that are like, oh, they're trying to make, they think that burning carbon is bad for the environment. All right, well, just, stand next to a smokestack, pumping out smoke from burning, from generating electricity. Stand next to any kind of refinery, refining petroleum products, hang out there, buy a house there. Hang out in a garage when a car is running. Let me know how that carbon helps your life. It's not just the carbon dioxide. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not just about carbon. It's not about a molecule. It's about all the poison that comes along with it. And all of these fuels have risk assessments that are, bad to horrible. Because there are other things in here that you're breathing in, that people are taking in, that plants are taking in, that animals are taking in. The chemicals, the byproducts, the pollution that all of this creates is bad for you and for me. So when you just break it down to just carbon, you don't know what you're talking about. And you shouldn't go forth as if you do. You should actually think it through, or, study it, or consider some other possibilities, or consider the fact that, et cetera, right? But who cares what I think? You're the carbon they're trying to get rid of. No, you're the you're the person they are trying to pollute to death. And they've already done a great job of it. And we're already seeing the consequences, the just rewards from decades and decades and decades and decades and decades and decades of pollution. If you don't believe carbon is heating the earth, well, just believe that all these chemical residues and byproducts and compounds and toxic sludge and barrels of DDT thrown in, just believe that all of that stuff is definitely having effect on you and yours. If you don't believe carbon is heating the planet, just believe that all this pollution is absolutely destroying the web of life. That's all you need to know about. And it's, if that's easier for you to understand, great. But let me tell you, it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. Climate change induced by carbon, or climate change induced by, decades of pollution destroying the web of life. It's all the same thing. It is no different. So maybe we can all come together on that level. I don't know. Anyways, this is wild. I'm not even going to read any more of this, but just know that that's anyways. There was a huge earthquake in China. On top of everything, they just can't get a break in China. There's a huge earthquake, a 5.4 magnitude earthquake. I guess that's not super huge, big enough. These are birds flying uncontrollably after this earthquake. I guess they were freaked out. 5 is actually not. It's big enough to cause some damage, but it's not. It's not huge. Huge is like 7, 8, 9. This is a good tweet from Sarah Baker. And basically, kind of in line with a lot of things I might say on this channel. The climate crisis is fueled by the economy, so there is no way to solve the climate crisis while strengthening the economy. She's replying to President Biden, who is, again, saying something politicians have to say, because they don't have to say this. If they weren't trying to get one over on you, they wouldn't say this, but they don't have to say this. The Inflation Reduction Act is the most aggressive investment ever to confront the climate crisis while strengthening our economic and energy security and creating jobs. We're on the path to meet our climate goals. Ha. Ha. You're only seeing 11 thumbs up on YouTube. Everybody, you better thumb up this video right now. And if you're on Rockfin, you better thumb up that video right now if you're rocking on Rockfin. Sorry. Whoops. Let me do that. I did get a Rockfin tip. Thank you, Judy Truitt. Judy Truitt tipped me $20 on Rockfin. Thank you so much, Judy. I appreciate you. Where are we at? Oh, anyways. So she's saying strengthening the economy to solve the climate crisis is the deadliest oxymoron ever. It's like saying we're going to solve a fire by blasting it with gasoline delivered by way of an electric fire truck. Basically, yeah. And that's not, it's hard for people to understand that. It's hard to grok. The truth, that is, it is the engine of human civilization as is the economy. That's what the economy is. It's basically everything that goes into keeping human civilization like growing and doing all the things. It is the economy that's destroying the planet. And so if you want to stop destroying the planet, you have to actually reduce the economy by about 90% if you really want to do that. But, that's just lunatic talk. Well, what do you mean? I don't know. I mean, everybody understands that empires fall. And this is something that the righties can understand this concept, right? Because they're surely everybody is well aware that we're the biggest empire ever, and that empires have lifespans. Well, those empires have lifespans. They have economic lifespans. It's not just about the power. It's not the empire. It's very tightly joined to that empire is an economic empire, right? You have the British Empire was an economic empire. The Roman Empire was a economic empire. And it's not just the US. The US is the biggest empire. But right now we have an empire of it's not just the US, we have the empire of industrial civilization. We have the biggest empire that ever existed, ever on this planet. And empires have a lifespan. And what we have is not just an empire as in power, the power of humans. Yes, we're very powerful. What it is an economic empire, and that empire has a lifespan, and that lifespan is just about over. And you can, I don't know, you can resist it all you want. It's going to you can either accept that and go like, well, how do we get it out of this mess with the least possible damage? How do we bring down the economy 90%? Damaging the least amount of people or bringing the least amount of harm. You could do that, you could do it that way. Or you could just, no, what are you talking about? Bam, run into a brick wall, wham. Or you could do it that way, which is going to be a lot more painful and probably more destructive. Don't forget about the nuclear reactors, right? If you took the stance that like, hey, we're going to have to reduce everything quite a bit to stop destroying the planet or to try and save any semblance of life on Earth, and the first thing you would do is go, well, first of all, we've got to decommission all these nuclear plants right away because we have limited time on this planet to do that. We've got to decommission these things immediately, and then go from there. Anything from there. Or you could just go, what are you talking about? Nuclear power is great. And then you can just run into a wall and all the nuclear power plants melt down, and then that's it. Sayonara. and then that's it. And then there's no chance of nothing, right? Because the people that are huddling in a cave, or the people that have a little homestead, way up in Canada or in the Arctic somewhere, or Siberia, or people that somehow way up in the mountains, or they have maybe a little shot at surviving while everything collapses around them. And then here comes the nuclear meltdown of all the power plants. There's no surviving that. There's no surviving it for anybody. In a cave, in a bunker, at nowhere. Nowhere. And how's that for some doom? Okay. That's doomy. Man. Or you could be intelligent, thoughtful people and go like, you know what? We've really got ourselves into a mess here. Man. So first of all, let's try and save what we can by just bringing these things under control. First of all. And you can actually couple that with like ending, the military arms race around the world, ending militaries around the world, right? And ending military brinksmanship around the world. Just say, hey, look, we're not, we're in this together. We're not trying to attack you. We don't expect you to attack us. Hey, why don't we have some cooperation? Let's disband, this military, these constant, military buildups are just a bad thing for everybody, right? And we don't need it anymore. We're just, because we're more mature than that. We're not children anymore. We're not 5-year-olds. Give me your stuff. Or 10-year-olds. Give me your stuff, because I said so. Well, hey, no, don't take my stuff. Well, next time I see Billy on the playground, I'm going to bring a stick with me. And on and on and on, right? So we could either be adults and grow up. We could grow up as human beings. We could grow up and become adults and just think our way through this, or we can just continue to act like children and have limited understanding of what's going on the planet, and just refuse to think things through or think about things in a clear way. And then we'll get what we get. Case in point. This is a I don't know if this is like a right-wing talking point, but it's something a lot of people are into. Because nuclear power is now like super fashionable. Well, if these fossil fuels are so bad, what we should do is get us some nuclear power. Because that's clean energy. No, it's not. From Wall Street Silver. Texas power prices to surge 800% on Sunday amid soaring heat. No, really. And then they juxtapose this with electricity prices plunge by 75% as Finland opens new nuclear power plant. Y'all didn't think this one through, did you? Y'all didn't think this one through. You're just living in a short-sighted, immediate answers, short-term answers for long-term problems. You don't even know what you're talking about. Oh, Texas should just build some nuclear power plants. Well, how are they going to cool the plants? Bozo. And they're going to build them on the ocean? Are they going to build them on the Gulf, where the water is like super hot? They're going to build them on the Gulf, where the water is getting hotter and hotter. You need that water to cool the plants, and those plants need to remain connected to the grid, or have their own backup power, et cetera, et cetera. But if it's so hot, that the grid is going down, you understand there's some very, you know, simple immediate problems with this idea. Which I did let them know that. Oh, just build some nuclear power plants in Texas. Okay, okay, what? What are you talking about? You don't even know how it works, bro. You don't even know how nuclear power works. You don't know it, and you're pushing this idea out there that doesn't have. It's just so ridiculous. Anyways. And again, this person who runs this account is misinformed and also doesn't have correct ideas about it, probably because they're being misinformed and nobody's telling him the truth about what's going on the planet. Nobody's telling him the truth about what it is that's actually driving the planetary destruction. No one's telling him the truth about what it is we might need to do in order to stop the planetary destruction. And this dude doesn't even want to hear it anyways. His name is Wall Street Silver. Well, hell, Wall Street Silver, what we need to do is to take the economy down by about 90%. What? What about Wall Street? No, it's the end of the empire. It's the end of the economic empire. It's the end of the economy. We're not gonna we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do this. The best thing you could think about is how to do this, how to take things down several notches without creating more problems, like opening nuclear plants in Finland, where it's going to be hot too, where they are eventually going to have problems cooling their nuclear power plant. And boy, what a great time they had as electricity prices plunged for a couple years. But then when that nuclear plant goes offline, then what? There's like land-based hurricanes forming. That's nuts. This one developed over Missouri. Developed an eye wall. There are land-based hurricanes forming. These crazy, well, I don't know what you want to call it. Windstorms. I don't know what word you want to use for these. Massive, massive windstorms in the Middle East, the United Arab Emirates. Again, something is going on the planet. I don't know what it is. It's a different picture of this windstorm, I believe. Or did I get the same one twice? Different picture of this windstorm or video. Sorry. Yeah. I just You know, we're going forward full speed in the wrong direction. The people that are just like, start a business, get some money, build some roads, build some houses, build some things, build some stuff, build the things, do the stuff, engage in the economy, get a job, boo-da-ba. We're just, all of these things are going in the wrong direction as it stands. And not a lot of people understand that that's what's happening. And it's unfortunate. I wish people would stop using the giant platforms and the power that they have to misinform people about what is happening or is going to be happening to them in the very near future. It is unconscionable. And if you have the power, that kind of power, and you have the power to educate yourself about what is happening, I really urge you to do so. Saudi Arabia, 136 degrees at midnight. At midnight. Whew. That is a heat index, by the way. This isn't an actual. So I just want to make that clear. It's not an actual temperature. That's a heat index, what it feels like. Temperature plus humidity plus whatever. But 136 at midnight. What does the daytime feel like? I don't know. This doesn't have any, I don't know if this has anything to do with anything. Maybe this is sea level rise. Maybe this is something. This is just a wild video from out of the UK of, I guess, like a rogue wave. I actually saw another one of these from the Maldives. And I imagine these things will become more frequent, right? As sea levels rise, as things become more turbulent in our environment, the rogue waves will become more of a thing, a regular thing. Jesus, that woman got smashed. That sucks. Whoops. There's another one from Sarah Baker. I'm all right with this, too. Brene Brown. Anybody know who Brene Brown is? It's like a life coach. She's like a life guru. She's one of them life gurus out there telling you about living in the life, which is good work if you can get it, I guess. Brene Brown is wrong. We need to feel more shame, not less. So take the shame you feel about your body image or not being enough and redirect it towards the fact that overworked slaves pick your food, sew your clothes, and mine the raw materials for your phone's batteries. Boom. It's true, though. It's true, though. Much of our stuff, much of the stuff that we enjoy comes from slave or underpaid labor. Anyways, this is a grape harvest in Bakersfield. Once the grapes have been picked and packed, he and his teammates load the hundreds of boxes onto the trailer. Depending on the variety, the boxes easily weigh 20 pounds each. The high this day was 106. Man. Brene Brown is pro-guilt. I don't know. I like her too. She's not bad. She's cool. I've watched some of her videos. She's fine. No offense to all the life coaches out there. I'm a life coach too. I mean, you know, people have to deal with a lot of stuff, you know, and there's a lot of stuff that you're not being told about that you're going to have to deal with, and I feel like you may not like the message. But it's true. The sooner you take the message in, the sooner you can start dealing with it. Anyways. Oh, I wanted to get to this before the end. There's reports of patients being dumped on the street in Louisville. This is just horrific. But this is where we're at. Instead of getting Medicare for all or health care for all, we're dumping people that can't pay, dumping people that the powers that be see as human refuse onto the streets. It's horrible. This reminds me of when Ronald Reagan was president, and he cut all the funding for mental health care, and a bunch of people who couldn't take care of themselves were just released into the wild. Some survived, but I'm sure quite a few expired not long after that.
December 1st at 5 p.m. with a phone call to our newsroom from a horrified University Hospital employee claiming security had just wheeled a woman all the way out to the corner of Hancock and Ali, just off hospital property, dumped the elderly woman out of the wheelchair on the sidewalk, and left. Minutes later, we shot video of her, still in a soiled hospital gown and slippers, breathing hard under a blanket placed over her in 36-degree weather, her stuff in a bag next to her. The employee claimed she sees this a lot. This story begins December 1st at 5 p.m.
She sees this a lot. Wow. So that is what it's come to, yeah? The wealthiest nation in the world can't afford to keep people in care. The wealthiest nation in the world can't afford to give people free health care. And all these other countries that are, you know, fascist, autocratic countries, like Russia can give their own people health care. Mexico can give their own people. All these, you know, poor, struggling, you know, democratically suspect countries can give their people health care, but we can't. All right. Makes sense. Makes sense to me. I mean, we could I don't, you know, the media does a really good job of convincing people that people that ask for this kind of stuff are crazy. You know, one of those people is Joe Biden, by the way. One of those people is Joe Biden, by the way. Joe Biden, for his entire political career, has said we need to cut Medicare and Social Security and cut all these entitlements. He's basically a Republican, dressed as a Democrat. But somehow this Republican dressed as a Democrat is supposed to save us from fascism. Okay. And we've, you know, we've been convinced that anybody calling for, you know, Medicare for all or healthcare for all is some kind of, you know, loony kook. I don't know how this couldn't be one of the biggest issues. I mean, this is something that in the last presidential campaign during the Democratic primary, every single candidate was like, I love me some Medicare for all. We need healthcare for all. We need public health care. We need a public option, blah, 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 blah. They ran on that, and everybody was like, sure. So what happened to that, Joe Biden? What happened to that? Oh, love me some Medicare. What? No, you're going to cut Medicare. Joe Biden is going to cut Medicare. He's going to make it more expensive for people. He's going to empower the privatization of Medicare. That is what's happening. That is going to happen. That's what's happening. So you voted for the opposite. Just because this dude said some things out of his mouth, you believe him like a chump because you're a chump. Sorry to be mean, but you're a chump. Don't stop being a chump. Stop it. Stop being a chump. You believe things that professional liars tell you. You are a chump. Anyways. William, what's going on, man?
Hey, Kev, can you hear me today?
I can. How you doing?
Okay, great. Well, I heard you mention you were. What I did was, I had some recent comments on some of your subject matter, but I went back in and listen, bro. You know we were talking about fenbendazole yesterday and ivermectin.
Yes.
You want to talk about that a little bit, or you want to wait? I mean, is this okay?
No, go for it. We only got a couple minutes left, so let's cover it.
Yeah, well, guess what I found? I went into NIH library just to see how far back they knew that fenbendazole could be active against cancer.
Yeah.
I found 2013.
Wow.
And then ivermectin, I found an article back to 2017. That's not to say it didn't go back further, but that's just what I found with a quick search. And the ivermectin article, by the way, mentions there's so many other things it's effective for we haven't even heard about. So that's in the live chat. And, right. You know, not only viruses and parasites and cancer, but there's so much more. It's an amazing drug, and it's generic. So, like I said, they'll poop all over it, you know, because they can't maximize profits.
Well, it's interesting that you brought that up yesterday because I just saw another video today. I'm hoping that I liked it or something because I don't know that I saved it. It was an interview with a doctor who was talking about, there's claims that they've known for a long time how to cure cancer. He was talking about vitamin C, bringing up the alkalinity of your body to cure cancer. All kinds of just interesting concepts. I don't know if I can find it. Hold on one second.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I would have saved that video. Hold on. But what he had to say, was very, and there's been, there's been plenty of here it is. I found it. How can we cure cancer? Here, you want to listen to this video? Here.
Yeah, sure.
The cure has been known since the 1930s. This is the claim. It's 7 minutes long, so I don't think we'll listen to the whole thing, but we'll try. Here we go.
Dr. Caldwell, I've seen
little bit more about that, and what are some of the ways that that's possible?
In my experience, every cancer can be cured in 2 to 16 weeks. Some cancers can be cured in minutes because every doctor in the world that's in office for 20 years or longer knows cases of spontaneous healing. There's even a book out called Spontaneous Healing by a guy I really don't like, and just stating that there are cases of spontaneous healing. That means if it's possible, we just have to find a way to access this. That's number one. So we all know about these. It also happened very often when people go to Lourdes or to these religious places, and it's not really the place that cures them, it's the expectation and the way to that place that cures them. The second, you get rid of acidosis and toxemia. The second, the body gets alkaline and oxygen rich with juicing a lot of greens like chlorophylls. Everything that's green has a lot of chlorophyll, gives the body a lot of oxygen. Getting your body alkaline with good calcium, with good nutrition, with good trace supplements, trace minerals, will help to alkalize the body. So that means the second you are alkaline, the cancer already stops. It can take a couple of days, a couple of weeks, but it stops. You get the body to a healing pH level, which the pH scale goes from 0 to 14, so 7 is neutral, and you need to be slightly alkaline. 7.36 is ideal. But in the healing phase, you should go up to 7.5. It's a little bit over-alkalizing the system. A great friend of mine, Dr. Martin in Germany, he is using oxygen more step therapy, for example, where you take the blood out, get ionized oxygen, and to lead the blood back in. And you do this 12 times, and you have basically brand new blood, like a newborn baby. So you already eliminated the lack of oxygen. You see the blood coming out looks like black. They put the oxygen in and it becomes pink. And it's like legal doping. You get it and you feel so energized and you're so vital. And there are, we know basically with what I used, what my MDs in Europe used is vitamin C injections, intravenous vitamin C injections, 100 cc's a day. 3 times a week, that's what we used in certain cases more often.
The hospital employee.
Very often, believe it or not, in my personal experience.
Sorry, I'm just going to stop that because it's a very long video. But it's interesting. Those are all interesting points. I'm not saying that any of these are, cures. I just.
Kev, I can give you a quick personal experience.
Oh, hold on, William. Hold on. Somehow you got. No. Somehow you got.
Hello?
There you go. Somehow you got disconnected there.
Sound like you're breaking up. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, I was a patient at Sloan Kettering and then Yale Smilo getting brain MRIs for a tumor that killed my uncle. It was in my pituitary, and it doubled in size at first.
Yeah.
And they tracked it over 4 years. But what I did was I alkalinized. I read about alkalinizing.
Okay.
So I did exactly what he said regarding that with food. And then I added apple cider vinegar and grapefruit seed extract from Nutribiotic. This is a brand I used.
Yeah.
And then turmeric. And my tumor's in remission. And the last MRI I had was, I don't know, several years ago. They're like, looks good.
Wow.
You're doing okay. Yeah. So.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I hadn't learned about ivermectin or fenbendazole back then. Maybe if I had, I would have tried it. I don't know, but I'm good to go. I can't be sure, but that was my experience. And you know who helped me with that? Was an integrative doctor up at Yale called Dr. Ather Ali. That was at the naturopathic clinic here at the University of Bridgeport, UB in Connecticut. University of Bridgeport was working directly with Yale, New Haven, and Dr. Ather Ali was a professor at UB, and he was my integrative doctor up at Yale.
Amazing.
Yeah, so they work with the naturopathic universities. And Fauci does science. That's total propaganda.
Right. Well, interestingly enough, when he brought up the vitamin C thing, I had a mental ding there because a long time ago, I I don't know, 20, 30 years ago, I read an article about how they were using high dosing of vitamin C for people with AIDS.
Yes.
For people with AIDS, and it was curing them. And I forget, it was like in the New Yorker or some magazine like that. And I was, I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing, right? They were finding that this was a positive treatment for people with AIDS.
I got another
Just
wrinkle for you.
Extremely high doses of vitamin C. And the fact when this doctor said extremely high doses of vitamin C for curing cancer, I was like, wow, okay, that's there's something in there.
Yeah, that was Linus Pauling's whole push. Another thing in the NIH library, they found that men who had low selenium and magnesium, the HIV would more readily turn to AIDS, but when they got their selenium and magnesium levels up, it thwarted the replication of the virus.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's in the NIH library. I want two more quick things real. Remember we were talking about R.D. Steele yesterday, and there was an embedded video and a link where I remembered I was going to tell you that, remember he talked about closing down military bases because we use it to pilfer, plunder, and, whatever. He also said that verbatim, and it links in the chat, he said, we learned a lot from the Pizzagate emails about what's happening. Remember we were talking about Pizzagate?
Right. We're on YouTube, by the way. Just letting you know.
Oh shoot! Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry,
I forgot.
I didn't think about that myself until just now. Just letting you know.
Okay, I'll stop there. But anyway, it's in the live chat. I know you got to run, so if you want to talk more about it.
Friday real quick though. Denver just put it to. Hold on. Denver just put up to. I can't get. Yeah. Yes. Okay. 2 links. A doctor in Rome got 5 years for treating cancer with bicarbonate of soda.
Right. Oh my God. That helps alkalinize the body. Bicarbonate.
Yeah. Right. That's interesting. And then the other link that he put up was jury orders miracle cure doctor to pay $105 million to a cancer patient. Former patient testifies she paid thousands of dollars for massages, colonic therapy, and baking soda infusions at Young's Miracle Treatment Center. But they were practicing medicine without a license. So there you go. Don't do that. Don't do that. And again, I am not advocating any of these cures. I am not a medical doctor. I'm not giving anybody medical advice whatsoever. I'm just talking about interesting things that are being said in the medical community about certain diseases. I am not giving anybody medical advice. Okay. Thanks. But anyways, that's very interesting, right?
Yeah. Anything I cited, by the way, is in the National Institute of Health PubMed open access medical journal. When we're talking about ivermectin.
Yeah, well, that's from an actual study, right? So that's
right. I just want to be clear about that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. Well,
Thanks,
thanks, man. I appreciate it. All very interesting. Take it easy.
Okay. Talk again soon. Thank you.
All right. Anyways, apparently this person that got fined, their theory was that cleansing the blood and avoiding sugars would defeat the tumor. Okay. Yeah, well, do your own research, practice due diligence in your own life but get the best medical advice that you can and get, the best treatment that you think is right for you. That's all I'm telling you. I'm not telling you what to do to treat any medical issue, okay? We're just talking about interesting concepts and theories. That's all we're doing. We're just supposing on this channel as far as this goes. All right? Anyways. Thanks for the Thanks, guys. Thanks for the links, Denver, and thanks everyone for hanging out with me today. We will be back at the regular time of 12 p.m. tomorrow. I'm still trying to figure out what time we may or may not switch to, but I will see you here at noon tomorrow. And until next time, peace.